Hey, Dennis here, and welcome to another God's Awesome Creation. This time we're going to look at the docile little salamander. I wonder, seriously, I wonder how many tons of dirt I've dug in 35 plus years of hunting for artifacts and relics. Oftentimes, especially in Tawas and Harrisville, Michigan, I would come across little salamanders down in the ground. Once in a while I would find them just under the damp leaves or the humus in decaying trees on the ground. Salamanders look like they might be slimy, sort of like a worm, but to the touch they are not. They have the cutest little toes. I mean, they really are cute. I have found salamanders that are black with yellow spots, and I have found some that are a ruddy red color. And from what I've read, there are quite a few different kinds in the world, and they vary a lot in both color and size. God made these little guys just perfect for their environment, as He made everything in perfection. So what exactly is a salamander? I mean, what does science say about them? They are amphibians, and they are the only ones that have, amphibians that is, that have a well-developed tail. Some people mistake them for lizards, but they are not even closely related to them. There are around 250 species of salamanders, and they are abundant in the northern hemisphere, especially North America. In South America, there are only 3 species, and all of those are rather rare. In Africa, they occur only along the Mediterranean, and there are none in Asia Minor, the Indian and Mayan peninsulas, or Australia, and the islands of the Pacific. Like other amphibians, salamanders require an abundance of moisture. Unlike many toads and frogs, however, they cannot tolerate heat and are rarely found in tropical regions. They are killed by temperatures only a little below freezing, but many are very active at least in the breeding season at temperatures only slightly above freezing. Salamanders ordinarily move about at night, being nocturnal. During the day and at all times in hot, dry, or cold seasons, they hide underground in burrows made by other animals, or in rotting logs under stones and litter, or in holes in trees. In rainy periods, they often crawl from one place to another and are sometimes found in cellars even. Salamanders vary in size from tiny creatures 3/4 of an inch long to a heavy-bodied 5-foot monster. Of those that live in water, some are slim-bodied like eels, and others are broad and flat. Some of the land-dwelling types resemble worms, although they do not have tiny legs. Most salamanders are like lizards in body shape only. Salamanders have no eardrums or middle ear cavities, and so they are able to hear airborne sounds. They can detect ground vibrations, however. Their well-developed sense of smell is most important to them in finding food. Some land-dwelling salamanders find their food by sight. All salamanders are strictly carnivores. They are not very discriminating, however, and they will try to eat anything small enough for them to swallow: insects, worms, and other small creatures, alive or dead. Eggs of some primitive kinds of salamanders are fertilized in the water after they are laid. At the opposite extreme, a few kinds of salamanders give birth to their young, actually live birth. In most kinds of the male deposits clumps of sperm enclosed in a gelatin. These are picked up by the female as she crawls over them, and later she deposits the fertile eggs in the water, where they hatch as larvae and have external gills and skin over their eyes. After a time, the larvae transform, losing the gills and gill slits, developing eyelids, and becoming capable of living on land. Though some kinds remain in the water throughout their lives, other salamanders lay their eggs on moist soil, and imagos, miniature replicas of full-grown adults, hatch from them. Some of the newts spend several years on land in an immature stage, before returning to the water. Mature salamander larvae are easily distinguished from frog larvae, tadpoles, although the two look much alike when first hatched. A salamander larvae has 3 gills on each side of its head. A frog larvae has only 2. Also, the frog larvae has beneath its mouth heavy adhesive organs for holding onto underwater objects. A salamander larvae either has no such structures on its head, or it has much more delicate organs called balancers, which serve the same purpose. salamanders that salamanders larvae that develop in still waters have balancers, little organs, as I said, and large gills and fins. Those found in fast-moving waters have short gills and fins. So they are a fascinating little creature, and in the images that I'm showing you, you can see what a multitude of variety of types that there are. They're really neat to find. Because I found many of them when I've been out in the woods hunting for artifacts and relics, and they're very interesting. The only lizard, though, I've actually come across when hunting for things was a blue-tailed skink that my ex-wife Kathy and I found out just northeast of Foot Site. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little look at the docile little salamander. They are awesome little animals. And you have a great evening, and God bless you in all that you do.